Oh. Oh, get comfortable. Right, this is 2035, episode 4. Bumper, broken tooth, witch hazel, hag. Gadget, fingers and razors stood naked on the balcony of the flat, drying their soaking wet clothes over an open fire, burning in an old tin dustbin. Wrinkled-faced, toothless, grey-haired postman. Handed each of them a tin can filled with rainwater and flavoured with wild blackberries. Tastes a little bit like Ribena, he chuckled. You can remember that far back in time. Where did you get the water from after the plumbing dried up? Asked Gadget. It rains in the fucking dump, don't it, stupid dope, laughed Fingers. I've got buckets on the roof. I got the idea from a movie. 28 days later, replied the postman. Broken Tooth gazed around the room and grinned. The Stigs got dressed in a nice, warm, tattered ragtag clothing. Well, at least they were dry again. Razor scrubbed his long, black, damp hair with an old towel. You haven't told us your name yet, he remarked. I'm Bill, sighed the old toothless man. Tag scratched his stubbly ginger chin. I've been thinking. Makes a change, whispered Fingers. That fucking stairwell really needs a paint job. I wish I had more cans of spray paint with me, huffed Tag. Whoever the artist, chuckled Broken Tooth. I only wish we had more time here. Remember, we still have to find Tinker and Core. We have a long journey ahead of us. Bill laughed. Those fucking walls have been painted beige ever since I moved in here in 1996. It's 2035 now, exclaimed Gadget, staring at the wristwatches strapped to his left forearm, scavenged from the waste in the dump. He'd been collecting them and repairing them. He was 40 years old and had lived in a scrapyard for the past 8 years. Why do you still wear the postman's uniform? Asked Bumper, looking puzzled. Just taking a piss, really, chuckled Bill. It helps me to remember the past. The retired postman coughed. I will tell you one thing, boys and girls. He looked towards Witch Hazel. You smell a damn sight sweeter than you did when I opened the door, laughed the old man. That's why I left you outside in the rain for so long. You looked like you needed a shower. You smelt like you were living in a rubbish dump. He paused. No offence. None taken, frowned Broken Tooth. We do live in the city dump. Have done ever since I left this fucking town when my parents kicked me out. How long ago was that? Asked old Bill. About 15 years, replied Broken Tooth. We are called the Stigs. You do have a hell of a lot of videotapes, sighed Gadget, staring at the piles of jet black, dust-covered video cassettes wasting away in bookcases lining the living room of the retired postman's flat. I used to make home movies on a VHS camera when I was a hell of a lot younger. Bill sat down in the right hand corner of his tattered black leather sofa. Sinking deep into his seat, well worn after 40 odd years. When they cut off the analogue television signals, I mean, I'm talking way back, probably 25 years ago, replaced it with digital television. It's bloody hard to get my camera working again. They ain't very clever mechanically. He huffed a heavy sigh. A fucking electricity company closed down 19 years ago, if it is indeed 2035, and I haven't been able to watch any of them since. But I sure as hell don't want to throw any of them away either. They are my history after all, frowned Bill. You sound just like Pugh, our librarian, laughed Gadget. He loves VHS movies. Broken Tooth folded his arms across his chest. Why don't you come back to the dump with us after we have found our friends? He suggested. We can bring your films with us. We've got an electricity generator, thousands of analogue televisions and hundreds of VHS video recorders. We watch old movies all the time. You'd be surprised how many were thrown into a rubbish tip when they computerized everything. Maybe, sighed the tired old man, scratching his head. He raised his eyebrows to the sky. But this is still my home. I could always fix you up with an electric steam generator, suggested Bumper. I am a qualified mechanic. I'm sure I can find a few car batteries back in the dump. I mean, you'd be surprised what you can do with a scrap pile of car engines and broken bicycles. I would appreciate that, replied Bill. How long were you a postman for, Bill? Asked Fingers, picking his nose. The old toothless, wrinkled-faced man stroked his grey-bearded chin. Now let me think, he paused. I'm 69 years old now, if it is indeed 2035. It is, assured Gadget, glancing at his watches. Billy chuckled quietly to himself. This is going to take some mathematical thinking. He paused again. I began work as a postman in 1997. Yes, that's right, in 1997. 1 year after I moved up here. The Sticks all sat down, Broken Tooth and Bumper in the black torn armchair beside the settee. Witch Hazel sat down on the sofa next to old Bill. Tag, Fingers, Razors and Gadget sat cross-legged on the floor. 3 tin buckets filled with wooden logs burnt brightly in the centre of the room. Feathers of orange flame dancing in the dark room, illuminating their boyish faces in a dancing flame of light. Bill scratched his right earlobe. I lost my job when I was I lost my job when I was 50 years old in 2016 when the post office closed down. The delivery office stopped delivering and the company ran out of money. Why didn't you move to Gravetown like everybody else? Asked Peg. You'll soon find out the answer to that question soon enough, smiled old Bill, knowingly to himself. He tapped his left forefinger on his nostril. Now you boys had better find somewhere to sleep. The fucking sun is rising, smirked the old man. Pick a room, any room, 1 to 70-something. Kick down the door and find yourself a bed. Bill was really getting into the swing of things. Welcome to the Hotel California, he laughed. Broken-Tooth yawned. We've got to get to Gravetown. How long do you reckon it will take us if we leave tomorrow afternoon? It depends who you are. An hour with my legs. It's only 15 minutes down the road opposite the Galleria. A postman pointed to the right. If you are as fit as you look. The 69-year-old man winked his left eye at Razor. Razor breathed a heavy sigh. We'll never get into Gravetown dressed like this. He looked down at the tattered rags he was wearing. Fucking cops would shoot us on sight as soon as we walked down the street. True, agreed Bill. You'd better find yourselves some half-decent clothes. Bumper laughed. I've just spent half a day pulling planks away from broken shop windows with my crowbar. The lads have searched every shop in the town centre, and we couldn't even find a handkerchief. Not even one left in the charity shops. Let alone any clothes, explained the mechanic. Try the Galleria, suggested the old grey-haired man. They sold a lot of fashionable clothes. It's only down the road. That closed down in 2015, only 20 years ago. I think the owners were trying to make a quick getaway. What makes you think there'd be any clothes left there after broken to? Bill, the old retired postman, yawned. That's true. The scavengers have probably stripped the stores by now. They do tend to hang about in that area of town. We always try trading with them. They can be quite reasonable when approached politely. We don't have anything to trade with, frowned Razor, Broken Tooth's bodyguard. The old man shrugged his shoulders. Yes, you do. Anyway. But stop by the swimming pool, that star-shaped roofed building first. The water might be stagnant and the shower's a bit rusty, but I think the plumbing still works. Probably freezing cold though. The postman grinned. You wouldn't smell any worse than you do now, he suggested, even if the water is orange with rust. I don't suppose you will find anything but derelict empty houses in the council estate. I think the scavengers are probably squatting in most of them. The ones haven't burnt to the ground yet, chuckled the old toothless man. Broken Tooth heaved a heavy sigh. What have we got that we could possibly trade for fresh clothes? He asked. The scavengers want everything they can possibly get their hands on, explained Bill. Even sex. Witch Hazel crossed her legs. They sure as hell ain't going to screw me for a pair of fresh knickers, she frowned. You don't know the scavengers very well, do you? Asked the old retired postman. He pointed a bony finger to Tag and Fingers. I'm certain that they would give you the crown jewels for a night with those two young teenage bottoms. He laughed. Fingers stared into Tag's eyes. Fuck us, he giggled. The clean clothes?